She had earned every inch of her success, top of her class, Ivy League MBA, and now a high-level executive at a prestigious design firm. But none of that mattered the moment she walked into that luxury furniture store. To the woman in pearls and pastels, she wasn't a customer. She wasn't even a person. She was the help. What happened next didn't just expose one woman's ignorance, it uncovered a whole room full of silent complicity. And by the time the truth came out, it was too late to save reputations. Because sometimes, racism doesn't wear a hood. Sometimes, it wears a smile, and asks if you can grab the boxes in the back. It was a hot Thursday in Atlanta, but Ava Robinson was cool, collected, and dressed in a slate gray designer suit that cost more than most people's rent. Her heels clicked crisply on the marble showroom floor as she stepped into Marston & Company, an upscale furniture boutique known for catering to the rich and powerful. Ava wasn't just there to shop, she was curating a luxury suite for $1 million client. It was the final piece of a multi-project contract that could lock her firm into a long-term partnership. This wasn't just business. This was legacy. The store was quiet, hushed like a cathedral. Golden lighting, smooth jazz, white-gloved employees. Every corner smelled of leather, cedarwood, and exclusivity. Ava had emailed ahead, set the appointment, and arrived 15 minutes early. Prepared, professional, and exactly on time, just as she always was. But as she browsed the walnut credenzas and velvet sectionals, a woman walked in behind her. White. Blonde. Power walking in pointed heels and purpose. She glanced at Ava, did a once-over, and then frowned. You could see it in her body language, confusion, then indignation. Her face twisted with irritation, not curiosity. She didn't see a fellow shopper. She didn't see a top executive. She saw a problem. And she was about to fix it. In just a few minutes, a single assumption would unravel a quiet room and expose a loud truth, that no matter how high a black woman climbs, someone's always ready to pull her back down with nothing more than a pointed finger, and a lie. Ava moved with intention, scanning samples, snapping photos, mentally calculating layout dimensions. She was immersed, focused, until she heard it. A cough. Pointed, performative. Followed by the unmistakable tone of entitlement. "Excuse me," the woman said. Not to anyone in particular, but clearly at Ava. Ava glanced up, half smiling, assuming maybe the woman was lost or had a question about the layout. The woman stepped closer. "Young lady," she said louder. "Can you check if this comes in a darker finish? And I'll need someone to help carry it out to my car." Ava blinked, confused. Her smile faded. But the woman's smile broadened, as if she'd just ordered her morning latte. A store associate, a young man in a black polo, stepped forward, clearly alarmed. But before he could intervene, the woman held up a manicured hand to stop him. "No, no. I already asked her. Let's not crowd the poor girl." Poor girl. Ava straightened. Her heart wasn't racing, not yet. But her jaw tensed. The room suddenly felt warmer. The jazz, louder. She looked the woman dead in the eye and calmly said, "I don't work here." The woman's eyebrows lifted in performative surprise. "Oh, I just assumed," she gestured vaguely toward Ava's clothing, as if a tailored suit was somehow uniform adjacent. "You just seemed so helpful." There it was. The compliment that wasn't. The apology that didn't apologize. The thin layer of sugar over a spoonful of acid. The store associate attempted to clarify, introducing Ava by name and title. But the woman interrupted again. "I just think it's odd," she said. "You're walking around touching everything. Taking pictures. Anyone would assume." Ava's client walked in at that moment. A well-known tech entrepreneur, white, casually dressed, and clearly comfortable. In the space. He greeted Ava with a warm hug and said, "You're early, love it. Did you already pick the layout?" And just like that, the air shifted. The woman's expression morphed, confusion, then horror, then an awkward smirk. "Oh, I see," she said, backpedaling. "You're together." The implication was thick. The discomfort, worse. Ava didn't reply. She just turned and walked toward the back wall where the custom pieces were displayed. Her client followed, clearly unaware of the powder keg that had just been lit. But the whispers started. Not from the woman. From two other customers nearby, quiet giggles. Raised eyebrows. One muttered, "Drama." The store manager appeared, finally summoned by the associate. She apologized profusely, to Ava. But it was loud. Performative. Almost theatrical. And Ava knew, this wasn't about her dignity anymore. It was about everyone else saving face. The woman, now visibly uncomfortable, attempted a final maneuver, faux innocence. "I just thought she worked here," she repeated to anyone who would listen. "I didn't mean anything by it. People assume things all the time. No need to make it a thing." But it was a thing. And Ava wasn't going to let it slide into silence. She turned slowly, with the poise of someone who'd had to do this too many times before. She looked around the room, not just at the woman, but at everyone who had witnessed, giggled, or stood by. "You assumed," Ava said clearly, "because people like me aren't supposed to be people like this. You saw my skin, not my role. My face, not my resume." The room was silent. "You reduced me to a stereotype. And then tried to make me feel guilty for your mistake." The woman opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Ava continued. "If I had spoken to you the way you spoke to me, in your own words, in your own tone, security would have been called. That hit. And if I'd been a man, this would have been a confrontation. But because I'm a black woman, you expect me to swallow it. Smile. Let it go." No one laughed now. Ava turned back to the manager. "Your team has been kind. But I won't be buying anything here. And neither will my client." Her client, who had caught on, nodded in agreement. "We'll take our business elsewhere." And they walked out, not with raised voices, not with slammed doors. But with power. The woman stood there, frozen. Still trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Because for her, this wasn't supposed to happen. Not in this store. Not in this neighborhood. Not to her. The story went viral. Not because Ava posted about it, but because someone else had been filming. A teenager, sitting near the display sofas with his mom, had captured everything. The video showed Ava being mistaken, dismissed, and disrespected, and then reclaiming the moment with grace and clarity. It circulated with hashtags, hashtag she is not your assistant, hashtag being black while successful, hashtag Karen culture. Marston and Company issued a statement, bland and corporate. The woman in the video was never named publicly, but internet sleuths found her LinkedIn. She deactivated it within 48 hours. Ava didn't do interviews. Didn't go on talk shows. She didn't have to. Because the video spoke louder than any words could. And the truth resonated. No matter how high a black woman climbs, some still try to place her in a box labeled less than. But the ones who survive, who thrive, aren't the ones who fight every battle with fire. They're the ones who speak with precision, move with dignity, and walk away holding power that no one gave them, because they earned it. Ava went on to land that client. And 5 more like it. But that day stayed with her. Because it wasn't just one woman. It was the silence around her. The whispers. The giggles. The fake apologies. It was the system that allowed the assumption to exist in the first place. So now, when Ava walks into rooms like that, she walks slower. Not out of caution, but intention. She lets them see her. And she lets them wonder. Because racism doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it smiles. It tilts its head. It asks if you're the help. And in those moments, silence is a choice. So she chooses not to be silent. Because the next time someone assumes, the real question won't be why she's here. It'll be why they still think she doesn't belong.